Love and greetings to you. I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. And these are people who write into TMF when they're taking the course or not. This is a new series we're doing. So you can hear actual questions from actual people to actual marriage counselors. And if you want to become a marriage counselor, TMF trained, come to our website and see how to do it. Hi, is it normal that my husband is overly and so much more angry as I'm going through this course? Granted, 2 weeks after I started the course, he told me he had met someone new. Turns out it's quite an emotional affair. Although I'm letting his actions be his actions and only focusing on me and what I can change, but boy, he sure has become so much angrier to the point he can't breathe when he gets triggered, which is almost every interaction now. He has become so adamant that if he leaves me, it's completely my fault, which doesn't really bother me that he says it. Yes, it does. But I am so confused because he seems bent on never loving me again, and he has met his flame in life. But then he's yelling at me because he gets triggered by the smallest stuff I do that he doesn't like and tells me I'm manifesting my own destiny. And if I want him to stay, I better stop pissing him off. I'm trying to keep focused only on what I can control, but these mind games seem to be getting to me. Past 2 days were quite difficult for me. Today is much better, thankfully, but is this normal behavior? I'm trying to tap into compassion for him that despite what he says, he must be confused, obviously hurting, and internally struggling. I struggle with finding ways to communicate in action my love for him because he seems to just push me away whenever I'm near. She's hurting. I'm leaving a daily note for him about things I fell in love with about him, trying to boost every interaction with more loving comments and trying my best to stay positive. Any slip I make, he seems to just slam me and rub in my face that I'm never able to change. Tell me this is normal and part of learning to be married and overcoming our current negative trend to start trending positively. Also, is it okay I'm asking this? Or am I violating the ground rules of the course by not talking about my marriage to anyone? First of all, when you take the course, whether you're a man or a woman, you can talk to us. You can talk to the counselors about what's going on. That's not the same. We don't want you talking to others about your marriage because your marriage is very private. We really don't want all the gory details either, but sometimes you have to express them because you're not able to articulate what's going on for you any other way. So it's okay. Ground rules are sometimes made to be broken too. So we've come across this gazillion times when the husband or the wife who is taking the course is experiencing their experience more negativity, more animosity, more tension than they ever felt before. It seems like that's not what it should be. Part of it is that your awareness has shifted and your desire for things to change into a positive way is getting ahead of the actual positive changes that are going to take place. Remember, we live in a cause and effect world. That is a law. It is no less of a law than the law of gravity. So if I hold up a pencil and I let it go, it's going to fall, period. If you do kind things and loving things, it's going to get a kind, loving response unless your spouse, your husband or your wife doesn't trust you and thinks you're only making these outer changes to manipulate them, to control them, to keep them from leaving you. If, as in her case, he's already decided that he's on the verge of leaving her and all it's going to take, and he's lying to her, he's saying, you're going to push me out. What's really happening is he hasn't found a better place to go yet. You can't see the dynamics of your marriage. This is a truth. Nobody can see the dynamics of their marriage. Nobody can control their spouse. Nobody could look into their spouse's mind and know what's going on. We have our limitations as human beings. And so what we are capable of doing, utilizing our free will, which is the most amazing gift, what we should be doing with that free will and the volition that we have, the ability to affect change, is we should be working on ourselves, not on our outer behaviors. Now, she's only been doing the course for 30 days, and there's a lot of information. There's a lot to take in. And so although in the course you're given workarounds and techniques and methods, and you're going to try everything at first, but it still has to come back to changing yourself. We get married in order to be happy. When I say we, I'm talking about you, and I'm talking about your wife, and I'm talking about your husband. All of us who get married, we fall in love and we believe this person is going to make us happy. We are not taught that happiness is a cycle within the marriage cycle. I'm happy, I make my wife happy, she makes me happy, I become happier, and so on and so forth. But it starts with my choosing to be happy myself, regardless of whether her behavior is making me happy or not. You want to reach a point where your happiness is contributed to by your spouse's happiness. What happens is we get into these cycles where we cause each other suffering and pain. And then all of a sudden you take the course and your wife or your husband is going, yeah, right. If this were any other course, that would be true. In fact, most of the courses out there, which are a lot better than marriage counseling, traditional marriage counseling, talk only about behavior. If you behave like this, if you behave like that, if you act like this, it doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work, and I know I'm hitting on a lot of points, but they're all important for you. The reason why changing your behavior, like she's leaving him little notes and speaking to him more nicely as best she can, is because it's the old story of the cat and the canary. I had this experience myself. I had a cat and I had a parakeet, and whenever we were all in the room together, cats are not stupid. The cat was well behaved, looked like it loved the parakeet. One day I hear a big crash where the parakeet is in its cage. The cage fell on the ground, and I walk into the room and the cat's running out. We got to change ourselves. The cat's not going to change, but you can, because you're a human being. So his anger, a lot of it is just that she's seeing it maybe for the first time in all of its glory. Another part of that anger is that he doesn't trust her. Why should he? It's going to take time. The thing about our course is you're changing yourself, and that will change everything. There's some other parts of this that I want to address. Tell me this is a normal part of learning to be married. So that's a really good philosophical question with practical application. So we get married in order to be happy, but it's a twofer. Remember, I've defined marriage as a spiritual, individual spiritual path that two soulmates take together. Spiritual path is a path towards happiness, towards the ultimate achievement of inner joy and awareness and love. And that's what a spiritual path is. That's also what the human path is, the individual path of life. It's also what the path of marriage is all about. Achieving inner happiness, and it takes certain efforts to do that. One of the efforts, and for this we have the SO technique, which is revolutionary. So one of the efforts is to cleanse the mind of all negativity using the SO technique. And it's a big process. It's explained in the course. I'm not going to do it here in this video. The other part is learning how to, and this is the whole key of marriage, learning how to love unconditionally. But none of us come into this world purely. We're not pure beings. We are essentially pure. We're the soul. We have a body and a mind. But our behavior, our ego, it's not pure. And so part of the process of maturation is to cleanse the mind of impure thoughts, impure feelings, impure desires, and convert them. So this is what we focus on at the Marriage Foundation. We don't go, okay, well, here you are, here's your marriage, just behave this way, this way, this way, just behave this way, this way. No, we talk about if both of you are striving towards purity, that's wonderful. But if just one of you is striving towards that inner purity, you will be flooding your marriage with good vibes. I don't mean to make it smaller by saying it that way, but if you're happy and you're walking around smiling, no matter what's going on, and some people say, yeah, right, how can you be doing that when he's doing this or she's doing that? You can. And so when you're walking around with this beginning of inner joy starting to percolate, it will affect your spouse, and over time. However, there's things you're learning about yourself as you're taking this course that, quite frankly, are embarrassing. You don't realize who you are to other people until you start taking this course. And then you start to see it. But the mind doesn't want you to see it, so it buries it up. And it blames him in this case. It blames her. He's angry all the time. How can I possibly be such a angelic soul when he's angry all the time? Well, you can be. So there's a lot of parts to this. I try to hit as many of them as I can because this is really good. Now also, he seems to just push me away whenever I'm near. And again, this is where he was at. This is why she took the course. And this is what's going to be resolved by changing yourself. It's going to take time. Now, we have cases where the husband's already moved out. He just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take, from his point of view, how he was being treated by his wife. And he treats his wife poorly too. We can't go, well, it's the same tit for tat. We don't do that anyway. But if she just changes herself, and it's only been 30 days, so she's starting to use the SO, she's starting to become more aware, and she will get there. This is one of those emails. We don't get emails like this all the time, where she just like, ooh, dumps it all out. It's fine. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that there's so many points here. So hopefully what the counselor told her was stay steady with the SO. Don't get into a space. Your efforts at this time are all to be about working on yourself. and then let the true you manifest, and it will. So that's it. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. Our way of doing marriage is way different than everyone else's. I was just speaking to a friend of mine. In fact, he was one of the original people who I trained to be a TMF counselor, although he doesn't work at the Marriage Foundation right now. He went on his own. And we were talking about the difference between traditional marriage counseling and the Marriage Foundation marriage counseling. And the biggest difference is that we don't look for the problems. We don't look for the phobias. What we do is we light the way forward towards happiness and love, the very reasons why you got married. I hope we have a lot to offer you, and you'll subscribe and you will like this video. If you want, leave a comment. If you're interested in becoming a TMF marriage counselor, check us out, because we're recruiting now. We're going to have an army of people out there helping people with their marriages, and we have a built-in referral service and all of that. So again, I'm Paul Friedman. God bless you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hope to see you again soon. Take care.